In this episode, we start mapping biomes using the SCANsat mod. I use Transfer Window Planner to try and plot out some interplanetary gravity assists, and Twin Probes launch for Minmus and the Moon. All of this and more is coming up right now. Whoa, wait, what? What on earth happened there? Okay, let's open this. Why is your parachute? What is going on with you? Okay, I don't want to lead. Can I cut shoot? And why are you here? Okay, let's get you out. Leave seat. Okay, why? I think something okay, something weird is happening. Lieutenant Dan, EVA. Okay. Oh, now he's... If that's Dan, who's this? I think I have some sort of... I have a Kerbal here who's not a Kerbal. What is going on? I was hoping to start this video with a quick sea rescue mission. Pick me up another Kerbal who's lost at sea. Instead, I seem to be starting with a glitch. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at with this menu. Okay, that's Lieutenant Dan Kerbin. This is the plane with some sort of weird Kerbal stuck in here. Who are you? I clearly can't fly like this. That kind of goes without saying, does it not? Like, I'm assuming this parachute is actually doing its parachutey thing. And it's not taking off. It isn't taking off. Okay. So, oh, now it is, but okay. This is clearly I can't do this, but can I get like rid of this Kerbal somehow? Leave the seat. Get out! God dang it! I can't fly this way, clearly. Thankfully, I did have a pretty recent save, so I just reverted back to that, and then got into the Kerbal Construction Time Editor. There's something very borked about the seaplane, so let's try editing it. Yeah, there's a Kerbal in there. Oh, this is so weird. What happens if I remove that command seat? Take the command seat out. Okay, that Kerbal's now gone. Put the command seat back. And that gets rid of the Kerbal. We'll see here. How long is this going to take? It's going to just take 55 minutes. Let's save the edits. See how this works. Okay, this looks normal now. Yeah. Okay. So we have got to go get Colonel Canny Kerman. Okay, so Colonel Canny Kerman. Alright. So, after a bit of a rocky start, we are on our way to pick up Colonel Canny Kerman. You've seen this kind of contract now a couple times before, so we certainly won't be spending a huge amount of time with it. Just got to go pick him up. He's somewhere in the area over there. Of course, our rescue officer, Lieutenant Dan, is in charge once again. Okay, Lieutenant, are you alive? We have found Lieutenant Colonel, always right at the waypoint. Amazing that. Okay, once again, we will zoom by. Make sure he's okay. Yes, he's okay. Give him a little tail wave. And we'll turn ourselves around. Land carefully near him. And get a look at our newest Kerbal. Okay, there's something about this. Why does this always get me pilots? I don't understand. Pilots, and more pilots. It's clearly giving me... Well, I gotta think about this. Madby I got, my one engineer, besides Bill I got through a Kerbal Academy contract. She actually was picked up on a training mission. And Orlin? Maybe all this does is pilots for some reason? I don't know. Where's my command seat? I don't know. Maybe that's all this does is pilots. It just seems like all I'm getting are pilots. There's gots to be a reason. Oh, it does say rescue test pilot. Maybe these only give you pilots. Maybe the mountain one. Maybe I got Orlin with the mountain one where you rescue two. I only did one of those. I need to calm down with these, maybe. So I want more pilots. It does say rescue a test pilot, so maybe this only gives you pilots. I'm starting to suspect as much. Oh, okay. With that, this is where they see. It cost me $423,000 to upgrade mission control to tier 3. I know I'm saving up money to really upgrade the tracking station, but this allows me to have unlimited contracts, and I can probably make up the money here by just picking up more contracts. Yeah. So now I get to pick up any contract that I think I might be at all interested in. As long as they don't have an expiry date that's coming too soon. So for instance... Oh wait, no I can't. No I can't because I forgot about Kerbal construction time, which says that it's going to take almost 9 days. Okay, in 9 days I'll be able to get as many contracts as I want. Well, why don't we check in on the Kerpollo 2? It is just now leaving the moon's SOI. These folks, of course, were the focus of last episode. Now we're just trying to get them home. Why don't we take a closer look at our approach here to Kerbin? Okay, what's going on here? Now, we can turn on trajectories. I want to play with the idea. Trajectories does look turned on. Where is it predicting our landing spot? There. There's the red X. See, this is taking into account Kerbin's rotation. We're going to land here. Let's increase. Let's push ourselves prograde. We're going to increase our periapsis a bit. See if we can not put ourselves at least into the ocean just a little bit. Whoa. That's pretty close to the KSC. Let's go retrograde. And we're going to turn down our thrust. I mean, this is... It's kind of hard... Whoa, there. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm curious to see how we do. Because, like, if you take a look at it, we're spending a lot of time in the atmosphere. To me, there's a lot of variables that needs to take into effect. I'd be really curious if this is at all accurate when we're coming in as shallow as we are. But that'll be fun to find out. Let's see what happens. Don't remind me that that stuff's in there. It makes me sad. Alright, so I got this contract for another mapping satellite, but there's an optional component here to deorbit the Maxwell 1, which is our current... let's go and take a look at it. This is the Maxwell 1 that was doing the low altimetry scan. It has a solar panel that's having some issues as well, so maybe deorbiting... not such a bad idea, and you know, it gives you some money for that, and for some reason some science. I guess that could be some science. So we're gonna push this down. This guy's been up here for a long time. Still has 487 meters per second of delta V in it, so that is absolutely plenty. So we'll just punch this. And I'm doing this before the launch because I would assume the launch will satisfy these contracts, and I'm worried that this option will be gone once this part of it is satisfied, because I'm pretty sure this piece of it is optional. And this was our very first SCANsat satellite. Good thing I put in the extras, got extra fuel in it that I can do this. I didn't really think about doing it, but there it is. I don't know, something's bouncing around there. Alright, we have a negative periapsis, so that ought to do it. And it just, I'm riding with it because it says vessel is destroyed, so I'm riding with it till it actually is destroyed. We're going to be here, so let's, I like watching him tumble. We're going to be dropping it on somebody's house, probably. Maybe we'll be dropping in the middle of this lake. Somebody's out going on a nice recreational weekend boat trip. We're going to bomb them with a satellite. And bombs away. There we go. So that's destroying that vessel. I don't know. Didn't go green. Whatever. Okay, let's pop over to the Geoeye then. And we are off with the Geoeye 1. This is a brand new mapping satellite that's going to be mapping biomes for us. We're heading into, well, close to a polar or polar-ish orbit. We actually have a very specific inclination that the contract requires us to get. We have to have our inclination between 84.0 and 84.5 degrees. Kind of like these ones that give you very specific orbital requirements. I kind of just find that bit of it fun. I just realized I did not put an engineer chip on this thing. Thankfully. We can take a look around here. I think this inclination might not be one of the options. Okay. Oh, just had a stage separation. Familiar looking booster. I've used this one a lot with the, you know, that was a couple of hammers that just went, then the hammer, and then a little tiny, what I think is the torch engine. It is the torch engine there. Some engines I've had for a long time, but a dependable lifter nonetheless. So the first contract here is just to have the multi-spectral analyzer aboard, which I do, because you can see that part of it's green, and then to hit these orbital requirements. Stay on there. Oh my gosh, yeah. And the other one is to map 75% of Kerbin's biome. So that one will take a bit of time, but this one should be done as soon as we get our orbital insertion. I'm kind of annoyed I didn't put the engineer chip on. That was rather silly. I'm surprised I didn't notice that while I was testing it. I did test this, right? Unfortunately, I don't know how close my inclination is. We will find out when this is all done. You can see it's still wanting to push it. See how it's set the maneuver node a little bit to the north? So the maneuver is still going to pull that that inclination a little bit more north. So hopefully, I don't know. It feels like it should be pretty close now, but we will trust it. Trust my shaky math. Oh wait, is this it? Oh, here we have inclination. I found it. So our inclination now is 82.2 degrees. Alright, and what do we got to get it between 84.0 and 84.5? Of course, we can tweak this once we're out there, but let's see how close it gets. So it's 83 degrees right now. I got a feeling it's just going to come short of 84. We don't need you, Kerbal Engineer. Oh, 83.6, 83.7, 83.8, 0.9, 84 degrees. Hey! What I put in, 84.3. That ain't bad. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this script that does all this for me. Nicely done. Okay, we are now in a parking orbit. Our program has ended. And I don't have a locked prograde feature. We're simply going to burn until... Why I find this so weird. Oh, it's this little tab up here that's it. Okay. Until our apoapsis is Oh my gosh, between 492.2 to 498. So we'll go for 495 kilometers. We're going to be able to do all this work with just the booster. There is a probe here. I don't think I have... No, I do not. I don't have any probe body or anything on this booster, so... Actually, there is a pretty substantial gap in payload mass to orbit between this lifter and the one that's below it. So I think what ended up happening here and why I have so much delta V is I built the probe so that it can do all of the orbital maneuvering stuff by itself, and then slapped it on top of this lifter, saw I had way too much delta V, probably thought about taking some of the fuel out of that upper stage, and then just went, nah. And maybe I should be saving myself some money, but to be honest, like, just saving a little bit of that fuel mass really doesn't save you all that much, so I probably just went screw it and went ahead and pushed it into the building queue anyway. So we'll see if all of these parameters go green without me having to do any further tweaking. That would be nice. It certainly will be easy to tweak afterwards, but it'd be nice if I don't have to. The inclination is green, the apoapsis is green, periapsis is the only thing. Eccentricity, if it's reasonably close to circular, that shouldn't be a problem. Here we go. So we're gonna go green. Nice! We did it! Okay, so all the orbital parameters have been met. Program has ended. Might as well just leave the booster on there. I don't see why not. I clearly overbuilt this thing. That's hardly a problem. Okay, all we have to do now is scan 50% of the planet for this one and 75% of the planet for that one. So we'll open up our multi-spectral analyzer. There it goes. Again, I'm a sucker for all these silly little animations. But off it goes. Now it should be also collecting science for me. Oops. Let's see, there it goes. It's doing a multi-spectral scan. That's going to take almost 7 minutes for it to go. I'm not going to stick around. I'll let it do this in the background. And while it's in the background, it will be happily mapping Kerbin for me. So I'm going to try something a little different. I'm thinking I might have discovered something. I'm playing around with Transfer Window Planner. And what I started with was playing around with an Eve to Joule transfer. I'll get to that in a little bit. So we'll look at the details of that. This is an Eve to Joule transfer, which has me leaving Eve on year 2, day 224. So then I started playing with, well, what would it take for me to get a Kerbin to Eve transfer that arrives at Eve on year 2, day 224? And then the whole idea of this is seeing if I can just for funsies, because I do have this contract for doing an Eve flyby, and I thought, why don't I make this a little bit more fun than just that? So I started playing with this and looking now at Kerbin to Eve. I have a Kerbin to Eve transfer that arrives at Eve on the day that this one is to depart. So in other words, we can just do a flyby and head on right to Joule. This is just a 1,520 meter per second ejection burn. It's not at the ideal window because we're playing with this a little bit, but it's cheaper than just burning out to Joule just on its own, that's for sure. So out from Kerbin, it's 1,520 meters per second. That gets me into an encounter with Eve. At Eve, we arrive, where we arrive at Eve from this one is the departure date from Eve for this second one. And here, the ejection delta V from Eve to Joule is 2,625. But I'm doing a flyby, so we're going to be playing with a gravity assist. I definitely need to do some math. It won't be as expensive as this. It might be significantly cheaper than this. I'm going to get out a calculator, but in the or not right now, I got to do some major playing, but in the meantime, we can, I'm going to keep these two windows here kind of around. So as well as just, this is just a flat out window just to go to Eve, but this is a window to go to Eve, fly by Eve, and then head out to Jewel. I don't know, sounds like fun. Now, by the way, as far as these transfers goes, all of them were adding on this alarm margin. This is what confused me before, of 24 hours, which each Kerbin day is 6 hours, so that's 4 Kerbin days. So that's what was confusing me in previous episodes where I played with the transfer window planner. I'm going to change that alarm to just 0. So now these alarms are actually right when those windows are occurring, and I will adjust myself accordingly. Still not for a while, so I got a lot of playing to do. My straight up Kerbin to Eve windows in 53 days. And then I got this funny little guy here for the Eve flyby. But fun times, fun times, fun times, fun times. You know, I should really do the same thing for Eve to Moho. You know, fly by Eve and then use Eve's gravity to get to Moho. See if I can make that work as well. But wait. Kerpollo 2, come on. Task at hand. Now remember what Trajectories was predicting. Let's just for funsies, we'll put this on one last time. Trajectories is predicting, that's, now that we're here, wasn't it? That's pretty much it. Let's see how we do. Just kind of off of this funky peninsula here. Trajectories can come off, that can come off. Back to here. Might as well stage. Yeah. Our first Kerbals are returning from standing on an alien body. Very shallow entry here. We're actually going up now. That's okay. That means we're spreading out those G's. Just going officially suborbital now. We are in no way going to make that peninsula, are we? Well, maybe. Again, Trajectories is predicting right around here. I think we're going to come well short of that. And don't blame Trajectories too much for its prediction, because it was making its prediction with us with the service module on it still. And the service module adds a lot of weight, and that gets you carrying further through the atmosphere. Now that we're on the lighter pod, which has pretty much, I think, the exact same cross-sectional area. That's a huge thing when it comes to air resistance, is cross-sectional area, but much, much less mass. I should have realized it was going to come short of where its prediction was. Their Kerpollo will fly again. And this time I'll try and pay attention a bit more to the science. But we went there, we landed, we planted a flag, and we are back. I'm going to call that a win. 107.9 science. That doesn't even count what we transmit. That's samples and stuff. Nice. So a surface sample from the moon's midlands is 79.2. Oh my gosh, I got to go back to the moon. All right. We got some science to spend. And with my 193 science, boy, I had a lot of options. But I had to pick something. I ended up going with 3 nodes. Number 1 was advanced construction. This gives me a lot more, well, not surprisingly, construction parts, but it also includes some cool robotic parts. So I hope to start playing around with that relatively soon. In addition, unlocking advanced construction gives me access to, for one more science point, the structures node. This structures node, well, again, a few more structural parts, but one I really like is this structural tube. This comes with the Making History DLC, I believe, and I really do like this part. And then to finish things off, I went with fuel systems, mostly just to get bigger fuel tanks. I feel like I am limited with fuel tanks. Gives me larger and more variety in my fuel tanks. And when I was done with that, I got back into the transfer window planner, and just like I planned this flyby of Eve to get me to Jewel, I thought, why not try and do the same thing, flyby Eve to get me to Moho? So this is the same sort of thing. You got to try and balance two different transfer windows, one to get from Eve to Moho and one to get from Kerbin to Eve. And when I finished playing with all of that, well, the actual Kerbin to Eve to Moho window is coming up in less than 39 days. So there's something that I really should be starting to think about. But for now, well, let's start thinking about more missions for this episode. Now, it's another 6 days until our next mission, so that's a bit of time warping. And, well, you can see the warnings popping up here. This is coming from the mapping satellite we put up a little bit earlier. Yeah, it doesn't have enough hard drive space, and I'm really kind of annoyed by that. So what's happening is the hard drive's filling up, and then the scanner shuts down because it can't store the data anymore, and then it transmits some of that away, and then the scanner starts up. And I'm annoyed by that because unlike most of the science parts that are in the VAB, Kerbalism provides you with information about how much data they actually generate, but not with the SCANsat parts. I guess the two mods just don't gel on that level. Oh well, but anyway, it is getting the job done. It's just kind of spotty in how it's doing it. And in fact, actually, it's doing a pretty good job because after just a little bit... Oh, wait, whoa. I think these contracts are done. Yep, it's done 50%, so that one's done. And here, I guess it's done 75%, so that one's done. So we picked up a couple of contracts. Let's take a quick look. How is our map doing? Here's our biomap. Oh, look at that. Remember, I had to do at least 75%. Still got some corners here to pick out, but not too shabby. But you know, we'll admire this later because right now our next craft, the Munar 3, is sitting on the pad. Alright, we're going to have 9 minutes for the Minmus 3, which is this one's sister craft. But first things first. And we are off with the launch of Munar 3. This is my third probe to the moon, and what this probe is essentially materials bay and goo probe. It's going to collect the materials bay and goo from, hopefully, successfully. I've had my share of adventures collecting these with Kerbalism installed, but hopefully we'll collect both of those two things from high space, low space, and from the surface of the moon. It's not biome specific in any of those, so that should clear me for materials bay and goo for the moon area, the entire moon SOI, and then it's got to come back because there's samples, so it's got to come back and return to Kerbin and be recovered. So that's the whole plan. So you can see it's reasonably beefy. It's on one of my bigger booster, the Kodiak 1 with the three radial swivel engines. Same booster I've used to put up station parts. So yeah, this is a hefty little probe. Alright, that went flawlessly. You never know with fairings. And we are deploying our equipment. Nice, everything there went fine. Let's take a look at our probe. It is an ungainly thing while this thing prepares to circularize. So actually, let's focus in down here. Aim camera, that's what I'm looking for. So this is our ascent and lander stage all in one here. These are materials base. The Science Junior Radial that's provided by the Restock mod. A stack of batteries. There's 3 more, of course, on the other side. And the mystery goo. These guys have been upgraded, so I think the materials bays can now do 2 samples each, so that's 4. I only need to do 3. And the mystery goo, this is the radial mystery goo, also coming from the Restock mod. It can do 3, I think, but either way, I'm pretty sure I'm covered. So this whole thing is going to go, hopefully land on the moon, and then the plan is that this separates right here, and that this little fella here, that alone is coming back with, and everything should be stored into this experimental storage unit that should hopefully be able to hold everything, and this should have enough oomph Actually, no, there's where it separates. This should have enough oomph to get back. This is separating. This comes down with parachutes, and that's a heat shield. That's what that's all about. But anyway, we are now circularizing. Oh, wait, something new on these boosters. In camera. Before this is all done. This is exciting. There we go. Radial vernier engines to help with attitude control. These are great. I've lost now the tail fins. These are much more effective because they work both in atmosphere and in space. Provide also gives us a little bit more oomph, but a lot more control on this booster as it comes up. Those are a recent unlock. Okay, we are there. Circularization is complete. And program ended. Actually, let's take our camera and reset it. There we go. Stage that booster. Nice, and there comes our separation with that nice cowling staying right there. I still really like that. Okay, let's get ourselves to the moon. So this is on to the moon. It's going to be a day or so to get there, but we got other things to deal with before then. Now, this being we're going to Minmus means we do have to launch, don't have to, but it's definitely better to launch at either Minmus's ascending or descending node. Again, let's turn off all the garbage. Focus our view on Kerbin, and are we, well, see, I only have 51 minutes till Munar 3 is in the moon's SOI. And then an hour and 40 minutes and mission control has been updated, which means I can, looks pretty good, which means that I can shoot. I just missed my window. Okay. So we got to get to the other side of the planet, which of course is going to take a few hours. Shoot. Yeah, I should definitely check on Munar 3. There we go. We just crossed over, and we're going to take this materials bay, and we're going to start a material study. So the door should be opening, and off it goes, and we should be collecting data. This is going to take 20 minutes, which is fine. Now, while that is all going, why don't we set up our capture? And one and done. Okay, and there should be still another one in there. I should be able to do another one. Now, there is now, yeah, 32 kilograms of stuff. It's stored in there, but I'm pretty sure I should be able to transfer this to here. And there are 27 slots in here. That takes up 4, so it should be able to handle all of it. So, transfer data here. And now, yes, now that sample is in there because only this is going back, not the actual materials bay. Okay, so this should be good for now. We have an hour and 14 minutes to the burn. Let's get back to Minmus 3. I don't think we're going to get this launch off before the circularization happens. All right, let's time warp to that. I got a feeling. Oh, already alarm clocks. Oh, that's just the mission control being upgraded. Usually I get really excited about that and pop in and take a look at it, but I got too many other things happening. But I got a feeling. Oh dear. Timing of this might not have been worse. Yeah, I got to do the maneuver, obviously. If I have to wait another 3 hours to get it on the other side, I guess I'll do that. Stinky pants. There we go. We also should be coming into low space soon. And I'm not sure if this has to be restarted or if it just goes automatically. I'm kind of paranoid about turning these things on and off again because I've been kind of burned by that. I know the IT solution to everything is turn it on and off again, but I don't want to turn it off because I worry I won't be able to turn it back on. We're still in high space though, So let's wait to see what happens until we get into low space. Not quite sure where the boundary is. Okay, Kerbal Engineer says low space, and it's off. It's doing its thing. It's collecting another one. Again, it's going to take a little over 20 minutes. But, good. So not touching it was the right thing to do. So we'll just turn that off. And I like that we're still in the sun. This is still getting not 100% exposure, but enough exposure. Where is the sun, by the way? Yeah, it's because of its orientation, but KOS is in control right now. Oh, I forgot about the goo! You rockhead! Okay, so I missed high goo. I forgot about the goo in high space. Oh. You know what? No, I got a solution. I got a solution. We're going to cancel this. Abort this program. We're just not going to do a full capture here. Okay, so that's closed. Forget KOS. I don't really have time to set up the burn for this. SAS on. There we go. We'll just do we'll do a capture, but we'll leave our apoapsis in high space. We'll loop around. We'll get the goo. Easy peasy. No problem. No problem at all. And then when we come back down here to periapsis, we'll finish our circularization and no problem. At least I hope it's no problem. Every time I say no problem, I always worry that, oh, there is definitely a problem. There is definitely something you're not thinking about. So let's get this down to like 500 kilometers. It really doesn't matter. There we go. That's good enough. Okay, so we're going to leave that. We're going to turn these this way so that the solar panels will be better exposed once that comes around again. It is collecting goo and materials bay, right? Both of these are being collected. Yes, it is. But I got a feeling we'll be out of low space before they're done. But that's okay. So what we'll do is we will set an alarm for when we are back at periapsis. We're going to have to do another burn at that time. All right, let's get back to Minmus 3. I have no idea how close I am. Oh, dearie dear. I think we're so close I should just do it. Yep. So let's just run. Again, that was to the south, right? Oh, shoot. South, south, south. So we got to go south 6 degrees. So run launch -6, 80 kilometer orbit. Get a good look at it. And there we go. And of course, same lifter. Virtually the same probe, because the costs of going to Minmus and the cost of going to the moon are remarkably the same. But I think this is where I'm going to be ending this episode. Got a lot going on next episode, including, in case you saw that in all the Kerbal construction time stuff, including the Kerpollo 3, which is a crewed mission to Minmus. That is also in the works. All of that's going to have to be for next episode. I thank you for watching and hope to see you then.